Welcome back, everybody, and we'll be talking about Chapter 8 in the Entrepreneur's Essentials today, to be stealthy or not. Let's go ahead and dive right in. For this lesson from the Entrepreneur's Essentials, I'm reflecting on startup launches. We recently invested in Osano, spelled O-S-A-N-O, and I linked to that here on Medium, which is led by the very talented Arlo Gilbert and is currently in stealth mode. And we recently invested in Moon Selfie Light, that's M-O-O-N, and I linked to that here on Medium, which is led by the very energetic Eddie Madan Gore. By contrast, Moon is going to launch soon and is not in stealth mode at all. I'm thinking about South by Southwest, having initially met Eddie there, and this week having received my first batch of networking invites, planning my talk there, and collaborating with Brett Jinks, the CEO of Rare, an NGO, who is both a customer of Data.World and a Henry Crown Fellow. He's attending South by Southwest for the first time this year. South by Southwest is the place of startup launches, Twitter having famously broken out at the big event. Over 75,000 people attend annually now. Data.World is the sixth startup that I've co-founded and led. We went with the stealth mode approach prior to our launch, as I'll reflect on at the bottom of this lesson. We also went with the stealth mode approach at Bizarre Voice, but not at Coremetrics. I've given stealth or not advice to many entrepreneurs, and I pose this lesson to you as food for thought. As with much of my entrepreneurial advice, the right answer will very much depend on the unique nature of the startup and its co-founders. So here we go with this lesson from the Entrepreneur's Essentials. It was first shared at Lucky7.io on December 16th, 2012. I made very few edits to the original post below, mostly in the area of readability and grammar, not in substance of content. When Brent Barden and I founded Bizarre Voice, we decided to be in stealth mode for the first 8 months. This was because of the incredible response we were getting from our initial conversations with prospective retail clients, as well as several other factors. Our initial solution had been built by Josh Baer's team. Josh Baer's profile here is linked on Medium, and it wasn't very hard to replicate at the beginning. We needed time to grow the solution into something that would be harder for competitive entrants to easily duplicate. Number two, everyone in the e-commerce industry, including the shop.org community, was wondering what company I would found next. They expected it to be good based on the success that Coremetrics had enjoyed. At that time, clients loved Coremetrics. This put the spotlight on me with both potential clients and competitors. I could waste no time. Number three, one of the most fierce new competitors we had at Coremetrics had been Visual Sciences. They stayed in stealth mode for 18 months while we, Omniture, Website Story, and WebTrends tried to get any information we could on how to compete with them. Alas, we could not, and they did a pretty good job of disrupting us all. They went on to build a pretty large business and then merged with Website Story, and later Omniture bought Website Story, which had changed its name to Visual Sciences because Website Story was never really a good name. Read Chapter 7, What's in a Name? Or frankly, a good reputation in the industry by that time. In any case, Brant and I learned from Visual Sciences that stealth mode could be a good thing in the right situation. I think Visual Sciences stayed in stealth too long though, and that is why they never led the industry like us or Omniture. At some point, you need to aggressively come out of stealth mode and market and sell like crazy to win. Their CEO was ultimately too protective and too conservative, but I'll grant that he taught us a lot and had crazy good engineers. So by being in stealth at Bizarre Voice, We got a head start in the nascent industry, but we knew we had to run quickly to lead it. Power Reviews was founded just a few months after Bazaar Voice, and funny enough, they initially were in stealth too, with their first company name being Pufferfish. They were serial entrepreneurs, having founded the e-commerce site fogdog.com before. Bazaar Voice came out of stealth mode roaring though, and Sem Decker, our founding CMO, did a great job blogging on the launch, and I linked to that here on Medium, and my longtime friend Emily Brady at Brady PR did a great job garnering the media attention that we had been waiting for until the right time, when we had strength. We had the referenceable client base and the funding from Austin Ventures first round capital, Ralph Mack and Julie Maples, both of whom had backed me at the beginning of Core Metrics. Eric Simone and Jamie Krauthamel, the founder of Performix, to move fast. We knew we had to quickly branch out and build more solutions than customer ratings and reviews to have a real platform. And today, Bazaar Voice has a broad conversations platform, network solutions like Bazaar Voice Connections, analytics like Bazaar Voice Intelligence, and now advertising for the network with the acquisition of Longboard Media. Editor's note: these products have different names in 2019 than they did in 2012 when I first wrote this post, and there are many other new products today as Bazaar Voice continues to broaden its offerings. That's of course true here in 2021. When I meet entrepreneurs that won't share their business idea, I'm very skeptical on them as entrepreneurs. This doesn't mean that I don't believe in being in stealth mode. Of course I do. But you should share your business idea with the right audience, especially those that can really mentor you or that you can sell your solution to. I've actually never seen an overly protective entrepreneur build a very large company. For the 8 months we were in stealth at Bazaar Voice, we showed potential clients everything, how our solution worked, how our services worked, and what our product roadmap was. Because after all, we were betting on a very small, because after all, they were betting on a very small company with few resources at the time. And we signed and launched clients like CompUSA, Golfsmith, and Petco, and we ran like hell to lead the industry. Clients will give you all the credibility you need, even when in stealth, as long as they will serve as a reference because you've done a really great job for them. Below is the only thing you would have seen when you visited the Bazaar Voice website during our first 8 months in business. People thought, what a bizarre company. And some probably thought, has Brett lost his mind? Oh yeah, and the image below, when we were in stealth mode, didn't include any of that original text, just the image and our first logo. I didn't want to give away too much to just any viewer. At trade shows like shop.org and eTail, clients would ask, does it mean speak no evil? Yeah, I guess you could say that. You're going to need to embrace the negative voice of your customers and quick. They are talking to each other anyway. But remember that this was in 2005 and Facebook was closed to the public, Twitter didn't even exist, there was certainly no Pinterest, and there were no iPhones or Android phones at that time, where so many social interactions occur today. So I guess it did look a little bizarre, spelled B-I-Z-A-R-R-E, after all, but it worked. The intrigue factor was high, and it didn't make it so difficult to get an audience with the right people. Convincing them to embrace negative reviews, however, was a huge challenge, but that's outside the scope of this lesson. And the image here, you can see it on Medium, has a gentleman with pulsating green eyes holding his hand over his mouth and just the logo, Bazaar Voice. The text for the ad, had we ever made it an ad, reads, the voice of your customers is locked behind a keyboard. Revolutionary technologies from Bazaar Voice help connect your community of customers, track customer ideas, and promote brand loyalty on your existing e-commerce platform, and watch your business grow. And this whole image was created by Jacob Solomon, who turned into a fantastic entrepreneur in his own right and was one of the best we ever had work at Bazaar Voice. So let me continue reading here. By the way, all credit goes to the genius Jacob Solomon for creating the image and text above, which hasn't been seen outside of Bazaar Voice until now. He was our first intern, and credit goes to my good friend Gary Hoover, the founder of Hoover's, now owned by Dun & Bradstreet, for introducing us. Gary's blog and books are really good, by the way, and I link to them both here on Medium. We paid Jacob in stock only, but I told him that stock would lead to one of the highest paid internships in Austin history. And we laugh now about how we were right. In 2012, he left Bazaar Voice after spending a year as our head of marketing in Europe and around 6 years with us overall. He lives in Los Angeles now and is pursuing his dream of being a producer. You can see his first viral video series below. It is called Bubba Please and already has over 600,000 views in a few weeks. But don't watch this with your kids. I'm very happy for him. He is a real Renaissance man and someone that I am proud to call a good friend. Editor's note, Wisecrack is the name of Adam Solomon's company today, and it has 2.5 million subscribers on YouTube. The content is genius, and here I link to the video on YouTube, so you've got to watch that on Medium. Also note here in 2021 that Jacob actually sold his company, Jacob Solomon, to an acquirer, and it was a good exit overall. So that is the end of this lesson as I wrote it 6 years ago on Lucky 7. How did my co-founders and I apply this lesson at Data.World? Well, we were very stealthy at the beginning. We knew we had a lot of functionality to build, and in fact, Data.World is the most complex technical build of our careers. We wanted to make sure when we launched that there was enough functionality for the very broad global community that we were trying to attract that it would take. And it worked. Today, we're the world's largest collaborative data community and getting cited regularly for changing behavior. We are also helping enterprises with our modern data catalog for data and analysis, a new category that analysts like Gartner and Forrester are helping educate the market on. When we first put up a website at the end of 2015, our website was stealthco.world. We thought that even the name Data.World would be too telling. This is what it looked like. Data.World redirected to it, but no one knew that name. And here we have an image from our first website. You need to see this on Medium, where it has Sparkle, the name of our owl, that's just barely hatching through. You can just see his eye, and it says hello, almost like a hello world. And then when we jettisoned stealthco.world and announced our funding for Data.World in February of 2016, we queued up interest with the following form. You can see that we don't give away much. This is all you saw on the homepage. The quote from Mikhail Hagstrom at the World Economic Forum may have seemed telling, knowing what we do now, but many guessed wrong back then. And here the image is our homepage, and it says, we're hatching something special. At this point, Sparkle is hatched out of his egg, but he's still in it. He or her. Sparkle, we never really picked a gender for. It's gender neutral. And Mikhail Hagstrom's quote here says, if the universe of data were suddenly made available, it would unleash the creativity of problem solvers to combine different data sets, public and private, to develop innovative solutions to innumerable challenges. When we finally launched the Data.World platform on July 11th, 2016, We gated initial access both for performance reasons and to really make sure we studied how our initial community members were using our platform. It was only later in 2016 that we took all the governors off and the floodgate of community members rushed in. Word of mouth had helped our cause. One of the things that, as I read this to you and I think about what's happening now, is this is very much how Clubhouse has launched with their audio-based social network. I recently participated in a Clubhouse session that Mike Maples Jr. invited me to participate in alongside Michael Dell and Josh Baer and Heather Bruner, Bob Metcalf, and a lot of other great entrepreneurs here in Austin. And we're talking about our collective bullishness for Austin. I want to thank Brandon Godochi, and I linked to his profile here on Medium, for the images above and our visual design overall. He's brilliantly talented, and we're lucky to have had him with us since almost the very beginning. I'm happy to report as of this reading, Brendan is still with us, and he is our longest running employee in the company's history. Just fantastic. How have you done it or seen it done as an entrepreneur or startup team member? I would love to hear from you in the comments.